particularly last year when it was discussed how physically demanding a league can be and how many games are that way. What does having Sophie Cunningham on your side mean? After watching Sophie Cunningham play against the New York Liberty,
Because talk about the physicality of the league.
Yeah.
And so when games are that physical and they can get that chip,
Yeah.
what does it mean, what is it like to have Sophie Cunningham on your side?
Caitlin Clark made a statement about her that all Fever supporters should hear. We'll succeed. Let's start by discussing the real events of this game. Given that Indiana recently entered a preseason game against a team that most people are calling the WNBA champions of 2026 and completely outclassed them. Following an MCL tear that ended her season, Sophie Cunningham lost 14 points in 13 minutes. 13. Not only did the Fever win, but they ran nonstop the entire night and surged to a blowout. Leave a comment below if you're thrilled to see Caitlin and Sophie back on the court. You definitely played USA basketball because you were thrilled. For you, that is the first W game. In 9 months, we go to an exhibition. Extremely thrilled. This is obviously not a legitimate game, in my opinion. I recognize that, but we approach it as though it were a genuine game. Therefore, I believe that you shouldn't take it for granted whenever you get to put on your uniform and tie your shoes, especially since I didn't get to do it much last year. Therefore, I think I'm going into this game with a lot of excitement rather than a lot of anxiety. Similar to this, Caitlin Clark hadn't participated in a real basketball game since July 15, 2025, when she jogged onto that floor. It's not a quick break. She was essentially devoured by the 2025 season. Problems with the quadriceps come first, followed by the thigh, groin, and ankle. She had only played 13 games in the entire year as a result of one thing piling on top of another. Indeed, people were anxious before this preseason tip-off matchup with New York. Additionally, the question wasn't truly about triumphing. It was easier than that. Is it possible for her to simply move as she used to? Before the game, she acknowledged that she was anxious, but also quite eager to get back into the swing of things. And to be honest, that makes perfect sense after a year in which her body consistently failed her, and her mind also had to bear the burden. Indiana needs more than just a healthy Clark. It's a Clark who doesn't flinch and who once again has faith in her body. Each time she pulls up by planting her foot or changing direction. Not too nervous. Like run around and get out there. You know, both sides will likely make a few mistakes here and there. Preseason games are essentially about that. You offer everyone a chance to run. Everyone is just trying to regain their feet when you determine which lineups work and others don't. The same is true for me as well. Therefore, I believe that I can definitely rely on the USA basketball activities I participated in and the experience of returning to offer, my body feeling fantastic and bringing it into today. In 17 minutes, she completed 2 of 10 from the field. While that may seem difficult on paper, the crucial number arrived early. She slid into the lane after Monique Billings' screen, read the defense, and floated one in off the glass for the opening bucket of a game. It wasn't a standout performance. It was just Clark doing what she does, using her footwork, finishing delicately, and making it seem insignificant. And following everything she endured in 2025, that tiny little floater appeared as the solution to a query that her entire fan base had been pondering for months. She then pulled up at 3, and it released quickly and cleanly. No hesitancy, no tending to the knee, ankle, or anything else. At that point, her cautious demeanor changed to genuine excitement. Clark's early goals set the tone for the Fever's 32-point surge in only the first quarter. You brought up Monique Billings, and I suppose I'm just wondering how much you thought this may be an interesting parent when you spent time with her at USA Basketball before she even joined the team. Yes, prior to USA Basketball, I didn't have a relationship with Mo. After that, it was a lot of joy to play with her. Clearly, a big, athletic player with excellent hands and floor skills is important. Defensively active. These are the kind of post players that I enjoy playing with, and I felt that we developed a small bond. More importantly, though, she is an amazing person, and those are the kind of people we want to have in our locker room. She is a kind person. She prioritizes the team over herself. One of the more fascinating things to observe over those 17 minutes was the chemistry she had with Billings during transition, because the two of them had Billings converted on more of Clark's assists than anybody else during their time together in USA basketball. Billings ran to areas Clark was already examining before the defense had a chance to rotate, demonstrating their connection throughout the entire game. And Billings scored 9 points off plays that began with Clark accelerating as soon as Indiana touched the ball, and kept throwing, and we could see it there. A lovely touch. Billings are low. I was able to finish and make a nice pass. As you can see, Clark stated following the game that she wants to play quickly and sprint in transition, since waiting for the ball merely allows the defense to settle in and choose their matchups. That is the foundation of Clark's play style. And making reads before defenders can set their feet while running it at full speed in a healthy manner. When everything is going well, the offense looks like that. After the game, Clark affirmed her. She reported that her body felt fantastic and that she felt quick, which was quite different from how she felt for the majority of the previous year. Then, when it came to free agency, we contacted our front office, which handled a lot of the work, and she was thrilled about the chance. We were able to sign her because everything kind of simply fell into place. I am incredibly grateful that she wants to join our team, and I believe she is a great fit. A sprained ankle that you can play through with tape is not the same as an MCL tear. It involves surgery, months of rehabilitation during which you essentially have to relearn how to trust a knee that has deceived you, and then additional months of waiting to be cleared to play with your teammates. And it wasn't until January 2026 that Sophie Cunningham received that approval. Before the injury stopped everything, she played 30 games, including 13 starts, and spent the majority of the 2025 season on the sidelines. The stakes were high when she entered this preseason matchup with the New York Liberty, the team that the majority of the league has already crowned the 2026 champions. Weren't the same as everyone else on that floor, in her opinion. Everybody else had a preseason game to win. Cunningham was attempting to convince herself of something. Your muscles, arms, shoulders, and back. Thank you, girl. I've been working on it, she responds. Cunningham inserts it once more. And her third three-pointer on the not just that the shot was still there, but also that the knee held up, allowing her to. Showed she could still be the player Indiana wanted her to be when it mattered, that she could still get physical without hesitation. And she responded to everything quickly. She lost 14 points in 13 minutes. She didn't get to the free throw line 4 times or grind them out in the post, which is what makes the number noteworthy. She made 3 three-pointers, indicating that she was confidently catching the ball, placing important, planting her feet, and pulling the trigger in a knee that underwent surgery less than a year ago. Yesterday at training camp, I said, "Girl, your back, your shoulders, your arms, your muscles." She said, "Thank you, girl. I've been working on it." Cunningham adds it again. It was her third three-pointer of the evening. However, Nigel Laney Hamilton, I must admit that I was a little uneasy. I need to get rid of these after looking at my back yesterday. Rolls. She encouraged us all and mentioned that she had time to improve on her conditioning and fine-tune the specifics during her year off. What about Sophie Cunningham, though? She said, every 3 she knocked down stretched the Fever lead a little further and told the Liberty defense there was no comfortable place to sag off her because she wasn't hesitating for even half a second. Planting second. Nothing in her body language, no more gathering, no second guessing. That second, that said, "I'm still working my way back." She filmed it as if it were any other evening. A Fever, too. Cunningham devises the scam. Raven Johnson received the bounce pass. Cunningham inserts it. It was too simple. She used the same aggressiveness on defense, challenging everything, getting inside passing lanes, stealing twice, and setting up hard screens for Clark that genuinely pushed people. Physicality, like that isn't something. If you haven't truly stopped thinking about your knee, you can still perform after an MCL tear. And as soon as Cunningham set foot on that floor, she stopped openly worrying about it. Lexi Hall and Aaliyah Boston, who were already absent from Indiana, both held out of prudence. Cunningham's minutes were therefore not bonus minutes. Minutes were needed, and she filled them with 2 steals, 14 points, and a defensive effort that clearly accelerated the entire game. When she checked in, the Fever's rotations tightened. Liberty ball handlers were under increasing pressure, and New York began making errors that they hadn't made in the opening minutes. The most admirable thing about Sophie, in my opinion, is that she never seems intimidated. She always steps up to the plate. She will have her teammates back, when she loves. She's going to be the one with the loudest voice when our backs are against the wall, and she's going to be out there battling and scrapping regardless of the situation. Clark watched the entire affair from the floor next to her or from the bench. She also made a very precise statement about Cunningham's contribution to this team following the game. Because, in Clark's opinion, Cunningham always steps up to the plate and is one of the loudest voices when things go tough. She didn't stop or soften it. Clark told reporters that any team in this league would likely be thrilled to have a player like that. She's on our side, which is incredibly good. Every team in this league would probably be thrilled to have a player like Sophie, regardless of whether we're up 20 or down 20. That she is on our side is truly lucky. Additionally, Sophie is just a genuinely nice person. She has a wonderful heart, but when she treads on the floor, she's fiery, ferocious, and will stop at nothing to support our team's victory. I therefore truly value that quality in her. Indiana entered the game without Aaliyah Boston and Lexi Hull, while the New York Liberty were the club that everyone was already projecting to win the WNBA in 2026. For safety's sake, both held out. Therefore, the majority of people most likely anticipated Liberty to win handily or, at worst, a close game that revealed little in any direction.
What?
Instead, they were treated to 40 minutes of Indiana sprinting. Furthermore, that isn't a figure of speech. To Mitchell, connects on three and ignites. Drills it with the three. Oh no. From Raven Johnson, watched that. When it comes to defense, she is a beast. Kimbrough Walker. That's nice. 24 times, the Liberty turned the ball over. Indiana had 29 points, straight from those turnovers. Therefore, before the Liberty defense could recover and set up, the Fever were already flying the opposite way whenever New York made a mistake with the ball. That's not just a few unfortunate items. Indiana created this persistent issue by applying constant defensive pressure from the first tip to the last buzzer. Cunningham inserts it. It was too simple. Timmons drills and creates space. He enjoys the three. Indeed, ma'am. The Beaver. Raven Johnson's stat line from this game appears to have been entered incorrectly. Thus, she gets a lot of credit for how those turnovers kept stacking up. Johnson finished with 6 points, 8 assists, 2 steals, and 3 blocks in around 17 minutes. Even if those figures look unbelievable when you read them off a sheet, they make perfect sense when you see her on screen. Before the waves, but Raven swatted. Johnson. When it comes to defense, she is a beast. Kimbrough/Walker. She exerted pressure on all Liberty ball handlers. The kind of disruptive point guard defense that converts a decent team's offense into a turnover machine is the one that sat in passing lanes rather than conceding ground and consistently predicted where New York wanted to attack before they got there. In comparison to how busy she was off the ball, her 8 assists are practically unimportant. So far this evening, he has 4 assists, currently attempting to obtain some of her own, but Johnson slotted her. Johnson, lay it in with a strong move inside. In fast break points, Indiana outscored the Liberty 20-10. Additionally, the 10-point deficit was not the result of a single, significant run in the second quarter. It resulted from the Fever repeatedly performing it for 40 minutes in a row. Every stolen pass, every made basket, and every lost ball became a sprint. Additionally, New York's. As the game progressed, rotation was just unable to stay up with that tempo. By the second half, Indiana had already scored, and Liberty players, who typically appear at ease in their sets, were caught mid-rotation with nowhere to go. Except the fact that the new parts remained connected and united, and they were able to get that one to fall there. 5 Fever players ended in double figures against a team that is expected to feature one of the league's deepest rosters, so let's talk about the scoring. Shaturi Walker-Kimbrough and Kelsey Mitchell both finished with 18 points. Before you even reach Cunningham's 14, Indiana had 2 players tied for the team lead. Clark's 17 controlled minutes and Michaela Timpson's 11 contributed. Without 2 starters in a preseason rotation, 2 players, each at the age of 18, will play the anticipated 2026 champions. That is a significant amount of firepower coming from numerous sources. Additionally, I adore the plot of Absolutely Torching. I didn't mean to pun. Failed in the previous year's playoffs. I apologize, but I had an amazing game. I've got the hot hand. She greatly improved last season, in my opinion. Within the lane, it falls after a tough lie. Timpson scored 11 points just where Indiana needed them. Boston's ability to consistently produce while sitting in street clothes is crucial for the paint job, holding ground on the interior and finishing via contact. Team creates its own personality. Timpson's growth as an inside scorer gives coach Stephanie White a lot of options for how she uses her front court when Boston returns later in the season. Fad because working with Clay Bin and Steph Curry for so long must have involved developing plays. There are many parallels between learning under Coach Kirk and the three from Timon's Dial It In. Justine Patad continued to remove her defender while adding 8 points to the three-point line, which seems straightforward until you consider the consequences for a defense that wishes to collapse on Clark and Cunningham in the paint. Patad can shoot and is 6 feet 4 inches. Therefore, it's not really an option to leave her open to double someone else. And as a result, New York is forced to make coverage choices that result in open looks on each and every possession. That's nothing new. It's a true spacing weapon. Adaptability to the game. 16 points that evening and bookie 4. It is overthrown by the Fever. The final score of 109-91 accurately captures the essence of the game as Indiana continued to push the tempo and the Liberty's bench rotation became noticeably shorter as the second half went on. An 18-point victory that wasn't particularly close in the final moments. When White moved further into her rotation, New York's bench was unable to match the intensity, and their starters were unable to reduce the fever. A preseason game is a preseason game, but this particular opponent's performance is the best. Without Boston and Hull, Indiana ran for a full 40 minutes without faltering thanks to a tempo and pressure strategy. That is not insignificant. That team is capable of achieving its goals and is aware of what it is striving to do. Additionally, the Fever's bench just demonstrated that it can compete with the league's top roster. Continue stacking days. Days of stacking. It's great to be back. Gosh, oh gosh. The season's first up. I had intended to do it, but I'm not. To give it a fever. You can dismiss a preseason victory, and that's usually the proper decision, but Indiana defeated a truly formidable Liberty squad, ran a strategy that most people haven't seen from this Fever group before, and they succeeded without Boston and Hull. It's more difficult to simply navigate past that result. Clark's health and quickness are the cornerstones of the 2026 Fever roster. Additionally, this game was the first concrete proof that the players surrounding her are prepared to run. The offseason paid off, and her body is now supporting her rather than fighting against her. Indiana won by 18 despite Clark finishing 2 of 10 from the field in 17 minutes, which isn't a terrific shooting night by anyone's standards. That indicates that the depth is genuine. When Clark isn't the one scoring, the system doesn't collapse. In fact, this game confirmed one of the more significant aspects. Yes, we want to play in transition and with a lot of pace, so sometimes I feel like it's taken a little bit out of context, like the off-ball stuff. We wish to release the near guard. You see, if that's not me, I have to go down the court so that people can come screen me and open me. Additionally, it creates a cross-match for the opposing team. They are unable to locate their matchups, they wish to obtain matched. That creates 2 difficult matchup opportunities, especially for Kelsey and me. Additionally, the more I simply wait for the ball, the more they are able to set up their desired match. Thus, yes, it is meant to be somewhat off the ball, particularly in challenging circumstances. Additionally, I believe that waiting for screens and patience are important. Additionally, consider what Indiana deployed. Johnson provided 8 assists while running point defense. Timpson scored 11 points in the paint. Pat's 6 feet 4 inches size draws opponents out to the three-point line. Walker Kimbrough and Mitchell both dropped 18 points from various locations on the court. Billings and Clark are racing through transition lanes. The Liberty were unable to identify a weakness because none existed, and New York is not a team that typically has trouble identifying weaknesses. Hull and Boston didn't even participate. As a precaution, Indiana held them out. Despite Boston's lower leg and Hull's hamstring, the Fever managed to score 109 points against the anticipated 2026 winners. Therefore, the team that dominated New York wasn't even the fullest representation of the Fever's potential on any given night. And it's the difference between what we saw and what's truly available that ought to draw attention to Indiana as a serious contender this year. It's exhausting. It's challenging. Drilling the ball up 94 feet, that's really draining. We're going to do it to the opposing team because of this. Paul will be picked up by us. We'll be on watch. That's also not enjoyable for the main ball handler on the other squad. I'm going to be the main ball, but you'll see a nice variation of both. That won't ever change. Since her debut season, there has been talk about Clark winning MVP. With Cunningham back and making threes, Boston returning to anchor the paint, Johnson disrupting everything defensively, and Patad providing the offense with another shooter the defense can't ignore, a healthy Clark is running with so much around her. That team is designed to compete with everyone, not just on a good night. New York will continue to top the majority of forecasts. To be honest, it's okay, because this fevered bunch has always performed better when they have something to prove. Indiana has a tendency to run harder and compete longer when they are under external pressure and no one is expecting them to win. Additionally, a Liberty club that wins the 2026 championship before a single regular season game is played may discover that their lack of desire becomes a serious issue when the playoffs roll around. We knew what it took to overcome hardship. Additionally, I believe that some people overlook the fact that AB and Kelsey did not participate in the overtime of Game 5 in an attempt to get to the finals. Therefore, I believe that we all believe that we can be there. We can make it there. We are aware that there will be highs. We are aware that there will be low points. I believe that, particularly for me as I enter my third year, the first 2 years of my profession are probably like, everything seems to be either really good or extremely horrible. That's just the way professional basketball operates. You simply have to remain in the middle, regardless of whether it's on the men's or women's side. Cunningham's return, in my opinion, fills a void that no other player on this squad can match. She competes at full volume, sets hard screens, scores from outside, defends forcefully, and does all of this when the game is truly on the line. The Fever's energy level significantly increased, and the Liberty's margin for error rapidly decreased as she entered this game. You can't simply throw that player into a rotation and go on. 13 minutes and 14 points against the team that most people believe will win the championship. Caitlin Clark watched the entire game from a few feet away after suffering an MCL injury in her first full game back. And she went directly to the microphone after the last bell, saying precisely what she considered Sophie Cunningham. When asked about Cunningham following the game, Clark didn't hesitate or soften her response. After watching Cunningham score 14 points in 13 minutes against the team, Clark told reporters, "I'm really fortunate she's on our side." That's not a polite post-game answer. That's Clark telling you exactly what she thinks. Most people expect to win the entire thing in 2026. Indiana enters the regular season. With Clark in good health, Cunningham back and already demonstrating that the MCL tear didn't affect her, Boston and Hull returning, and a bench that just defeated New York without them. If you're looking forward to seeing Caitlin and Sophie back on the court, please leave a comment below, like, subscribe, and enable all notifications so you don't miss anything. Click the video on the screen, and we'll see you in the next.